Hey guys, it's Lucia, and today I wanted to do a bit of a different video from what I've done in the past, and I got the idea for this from Maria from Cine Club, and she's also on Joe Negroni's podcast about movies and all that stuff, which is called Now Conspiring, and I listen to that every week because I love it. And they did this thing because she did it on her channel before, and then they did it on the podcast, and I was just like, that's such a great idea. So I thought I would do it on my blog, and then I thought I would do it on my YouTube channel as well. So I'm just gonna tell you guys about it because I really like it and I think it's a fun topic. And if you guys want to let me know yours in the comments below or do a different video or something, then yeah, just comment or let me know if you do a video on it, because I would love to know, like really I would love to know. So the video, which you can see from the title, it is my top 5 childhood movies, and here what I count is movies that I watched when I was little that were just like my favorite movies when I was little. Time frame for this, I'm saying from 5 to 10 years old. I would say that's the time frame that I'm taking here. So I will start with my number 1 favorite childhood movie, which is Back to the Future. And I know it's not your typical childhood movie. Most kids don't watch Back to the Future, but I did. I watched it when I was 6 years old and I love it now. Actually, just yesterday I had a marathon and I watched the first, second and third movies. I just love those movies so much. And the thing is, I watched it when I was 6 years old, and I'm pretty sure this is the movie that made me love time travel. And as you guys know, I'm still so much into time travel stories and all that stuff. So I do think this is a movie that shaped my life in a way, and that made me go into that path of stories that I love. Without Back to the Future, I'm not sure if I would still like all those movies, because most people that I know are not into time travel as much as I am. So I do feel like it was Back to the Future that made me the way I am today. So I'm really grateful for this movie because, yeah, it's something that shaped the things that I like. And I think it's really cool that it's a movie that you can watch when you're 6 years old if you're a weird kid like me, and then still like when you're 23. So it's amazing. I really like it. Again, I would watch this movie any day, anytime. Number 2 follows that path a little bit as well, and it is Contact. And I don't really remember when I first watched it, but I know I was quite little. I just loved it and I was fascinated by everything. And if you guys have never heard about Contact, it is this young girl who loves space and she becomes in contact with an alien planet. And well, funny enough, I'm wearing my alien t-shirt today. It is a movie that I have watched several times since. And again, it's not your typical childhood movie, but I was not your typical child. Along with Back to the Future, this also has, it doesn't have time travel, but it has, I don't want to say, but it's a spoiler, but something in it. It talks a lot about outer space and the universe. It is something I still love today, and I do attribute my love for those things to these 2 movies. And also, a fun fact, the director for all 3 Back to the Future and Contact is the same guy. It is Robert Zemeckis. And yeah, just thank you so much to that guy because he made me who I am today. Is that a speech that I'm doing right now? I don't know, but thank you, Robert Zemeckis. It seems like a silly thing, but the movies you watch when you're young can shape the way you think later in life, I think, and that's what happened to me with these 2 movies. And that's the point that I'm trying to get across here. Really proud that I'm still sticking to the same themes and that I knew what I loved as young as 6 years old. I knew what things I liked and I wasn't just watching the typical Disney movies. I was still watching those movies, but it wasn't like my favorite movies. Number 3 is more childish, at least it's animated, and it is Anastasia or Anastasia or whatever. I think they say Anastasia in the movie, so that's the way that I'm gonna say it right now. And it is not a Disney movie, and that's why when I was young, not that many people watched it. It wasn't Disney, so people just didn't really care about it. But the story behind Anastasia is way darker than any other Disney movie. Even, you know, some Disney movies like The Hunchback of Notre Dame, like the actual story is darker, but they portray as a happy thing. But in Anastasia, you get the darker thing, even if the real life version was even darker. But I guess me, as a not so typical child, I did like that more than other things, and the thing that I love the most about that movie that I still love, I still watch that movie, by the way, all these movies I still watch, I still love. And it is Once Upon a December. That song, that scene just had me enchanted. I still really do love that song and that scene so much, and it just has something, I don't know, I kind of associate it with the movie Ghost by Michael Jackson. If you guys have seen that short film, I do kind of associate both in a way. I don't know, that's kind of weird, but I just thought of that. Number 4 is The Swan Princess. And again, this is not a Disney movie. I think it's Sony. For some reason, I did watch Disney movies and I do love them now, but for some reason, they were not my favorite. I don't know, I was just a different child. I don't really know what happened in my life. But The Swan Princess, it is based on the Swan Lake, the ballet, and as you guys might know or might not know, I don't know, I do love ballet and I have seen the Swan Lake a few times in my life, and I do watch it on YouTube every once in a while. It is like the full thing is on YouTube if you want to watch it. I do watch it every once in a while, and I do love the story and I do love everything that has to do with the Swan Lake. It makes sense to me now, but when I was that young, and I probably saw this when I was 5 years old or 3, I don't know. I think it came out when I was 2, so from that point on, I've seen it so many times. I obviously watched the movie before I knew anything about ballet or the Swan Lake or the real story behind it. But it's funny how it works out that now that I'm 23, I know that I love ballet, I know that I love that story and I love that ballet, and it turns out that when I was younger, without really knowing it, I did love it as well. That's why I'm doing this video, because when I was writing for the blog post, I was realizing all these things and I was like, oh, this is amazing. And number 5, which is gonna be the last one, and it was harder for me to think about this one. The other 4 came naturally and I was just like this one, this one, this one, this one. But the 5th was a bit harder for me to realize, but I kept thinking of what movies did I watch a lot when I was younger. And I was not trying to think about movies that shaped the way I am today or anything like that. I was just trying to think of movies that I loved and watched all the time. The 5th one is Mary Poppins, and it is also quite funny that a year ago, I think, Mr. Banks or Saving Mr. Banks came out, and I watched that movie and I teared up just because I loved Mary Poppins so much. I don't know, it's quite weird. Mary Poppins, it is a Disney film. Woo! Finally got into the Disney ones, but not fully animated. It does have some animation in it, but not really. It still has that fantasy element, and I do see that theme in all 5 movies. You know, in Back to the Future we have time travel. In Contact we do have space travel and all that stuff. In Anastasia there is that kind of fantasy with the music box, Once Upon a December. Swan Princess, that is the element of fantasy with the enchanter and how she turns into a swan. And then in Mary Poppins we have the fantasy element where they go into the paintings, and there's all the different world, and it's just like a fantasy movie in a way. So I do see that theme in all 5 movies, and maybe that's what I liked when I was younger. So that's gonna be everything for the video today. I will link the blog post that I did below if you want to read that, because I think I said different things. So you can just check that out as well if you want, and give it a thumbs up if you liked it. And don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys later with another video. Bye!